My wife emptied our savings account the night before my surgery and blamed the bank. Her best friend showed me the receipts. I stared at my phone screen at 4 a.m., watching the balance refresh over and over. Zero. $43,000 gone. My heart surgery was scheduled for 7 a.m., and my wife Melanie was sleeping peacefully beside me like she hadn't just destroyed everything. I called the bank's emergency line with shaking hands. The representative confirmed there was no error, no fraud, no hack. The account holder had made a series of withdrawals over the past 6 weeks. The final one cleared at 11:47 p.m. While I was taking my pre-surgery medication and going to bed early, she was draining our future. I woke Melanie up and showed her the screen. She squinted at it, then gasped with what I now recognize as rehearsed shock. "That's impossible," she said. "The bank must have made a mistake. I'll call them first thing in the morning and fix this." She rubbed my arm and told me not to stress before my procedure. But the bank had already told me the truth. When I mentioned the withdrawals, her face flickered for just a second, a tiny crack in the performance. She recovered quickly and blamed a possible identity theft, then got angry at me for interrogating her when I should be focused on surviving tomorrow. She made me feel guilty for asking questions about my own money. The surgery got postponed because I couldn't prove I could cover the deductible and post-operative care costs. 3 years of saving for this procedure, gone in 6 weeks. Melanie acted devastated, crying about how unfair it was, how the system was broken, how she would get to the bottom of this bank fraud. She even threatened to sue the bank on my behalf, but she never actually called them. Every time I asked for updates, something came up. Her phone died. She got disconnected. The fraud department was backed up. Meanwhile, my chest pain was getting worse. The cardiologist said I was running out of time to keep delaying. Melanie suggested we start a GoFundMe instead of pursuing the bank investigation. She wanted strangers to pay for what she stole. Her best friend Danielle showed up at our door 3 weeks later while Melanie was at work. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "I can't do this anymore," she said, handing me a folder. Inside were bank receipts, every single one. Withdrawals made at ATMs across town, at times when Melanie claimed to be at yoga or visiting her mother. Danielle had been helping Melanie hide the evidence because Melanie convinced her the money was for a surprise investment that would double our savings. But Danielle did her own digging. The receipts matched deposits into another account. An account belonging to a man named Brennan Walsh, someone Melanie had been seeing for 8 months. Danielle showed me the text messages next. Melanie had been planning to leave me after my surgery, assuming I might not survive it anyway. She wrote that if I died on the table, she'd inherit everything guilt-free. If I survived, she'd already have enough hidden away to start fresh with Brennan. One message said, "He's so trusting it's almost sad. He actually believes the bank lost his money." Another said, "3 more weeks and I'm free. Just need him to either die or sign the papers." Danielle was crying while I read them. She kept apologizing for not telling me sooner. I couldn't even process the words. My wife was betting on my death and hedging with stolen money. I confronted Melanie that night with the folder spread across our kitchen table. She walked in, saw the receipts, and didn't even try to deny it. "You weren't supposed to find out like this," she said. Not an apology, not an explanation, just disappointment that her plan failed. She told me I had become boring, that my health issues made her feel trapped, that Brennan made her feel alive again. She said she deserved happiness too. When I asked about the surgery money, the years of saving, the risk to my actual life, she shrugged and said she figured I'd find a way. "You always do," she said, like stealing from a dying man was just an inconvenience he'd overcome. I filed for divorce the next morning and showed the judge everything, Danielle testified. The bank records proved premeditated financial abuse. Melanie tried to claim the money was marital property she had a right to access, but the pattern of deception and the text messages about hoping I'd die changed everything. The judge froze all her assets pending investigation. Brennan disappeared the moment he realized Melanie was broke and radioactive. I got my surgery 3 months later, paid for by a combination of the frozen funds returned to me and a hospital payment plan. Melanie got nothing in the divorce. Last I heard, she moved in with her mother and works at a call center. Brennan blocked her on everything. My heart is healing fine. The scar tissue will fade eventually.